Should you fake it until you make it, or should you face it until you make it? This is an argument that I have gone through myself, and I've actually seen a ton of people around me go through as well. I actually think that there's a strong opinion on both sides. There are people that are always saying you should fake it until you make it, because if not, then you're never going to be ready and you're never going to be at the position that you want to be at. And if not, then you're going to have to face it, right? So my point on this is very strongly sided, and I'm going to share that with you today because I feel like you should have all the information before you make that decision, because I think that it depends heavily on your personality and on a couple things that I'm going to share with you. So stay with me until the end and let's share thoughts on what you should be doing. Should you fake it until you make it, so people start saying buy the things that you can't afford? Or should you face it until you make it? Which means you're going to drive the car that you can afford, not a nicer car. You're not going to say that you know things that you don't know. You're not going to present yourself as a professional when you're not, and all those things. Stay with me for about 10 minutes and we'll break this down, because again, I have a strong opinion about it and I want to share that with you so that you can pick your own option based on your personality. And again, the things that I'm telling you that it depends on. My name is Andrew PC. I'm an investor and entrepreneur out of Las Vegas, and I want to welcome you to the AP Show. I have had this channel for about a year now, and my goal is to help you build a life in which health, wealth, love, and happiness are all present, and you're working towards them simultaneously. What I want to get with this is for you to not have just success in one area, because some people make money but are bad with their health. Some people are really healthy, but they're bad with their money. And I want to bring you the info and the things that I wish I had years ago when I was starting out. I want you to do me a favor and comment below with your thoughts behind this topic or any future topics that you would like me to review. Number 2, please hit the like button so that YouTube can push this content out to more people. And number 3, hit the subscribe button, because if you don't do it, then you're going to be missing the videos that I'm uploading every single Monday. Now, I'm going to give you the info behind each basically theory, because that's how I call it. It's a theory, and then you decide if you want to implement it in your life or you don't. The first one that I'm going to do is the fake it until you make it. And again, I'm going to give you the pros and the cons, but I'm also going to give you the definition, because many people are not even aware that this exists. The fake it until you make it method or theory, whatever, however you want to call it, is the following. People say that for you to be successful, you have to believe that you are successful already, even before being successful. There are many people that use this thing to where they actually go and buy the car that they can't afford, the watch that they can't afford. They go and stay at hotels that they can't afford. They go on trips that they can't afford, just because they're faking it until they make it. And what they're doing with this is hurting their bank account and their credibility, because one of the cons of doing this is the following. People know when you have money. People know when you're knowledgeable. People know when you're a professional in that field and when you're not. The fake it until you make it approach was taken very, very heavily after COVID by a lot of people that didn't have the Lambos that they were putting up on Instagram, that didn't have the houses that they were putting up on Instagram, that didn't have the money, and all those things that they were projecting were all fake. Again, many people use this thing for the wrong reasons, and I wanted to give you the definition. I just gave it to you, the cons, but now I want to go into the pros, because there are good things that can be taken out of this. And the following reason is the only thing I would use it for. Many people need reassurance. Many people need to see the result in order for them to even start towards something. So if you're one of those people, then you might want to consider doing this. But make sure that you don't fake it until you make it to cheat the code or to basically not have the right image projected on your customers and other people, because then you lose credibility. Make sure that if you're doing it though, you're doing it for your mind to see the end result. That's something that I actually get by closing my eyes and imagining the result, but I get it that some people need to see it physically and they need to mentally know that they can get there and how it feels to have it. In my personal case, I don't use this method because if you see, I have just one nice watch. I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I live in a normal house and I don't have anything that I can't really afford, nor do I do anything that I shouldn't be doing. In fact, I'm always very frugal versus the amount of money that I'm making with what I spend. So when you think about it, if you are one of those people that you can't just imagine it, you have to see it, you should pursue it. Because if that's going to push you and that's going to make you do the work that is required to get to that point, then go ahead and do it. I would just caution people very, very, very much on the fact that you need to make sure that you're not projecting things to your customers, to your family, and to people just to impress them and to fake it until you make it. And it's always faking it, because you're always going to find the next level that you need to fake until you make. And I actually think that that's when more people get that wrong, right? They're not just doing it for the purpose of believing it, for the purpose of feeling it and seeing it happen. They're doing it because they're always trying to show off that they have more than they actually have. And the worst part is many people, like I said, after COVID especially, did it so that they could sell products to people on things that they didn't have a clue on. So like I said, I wanted to give you the pros, the cons, and my thoughts behind it, right? So you know the definition of the fake it until you make it, you know the pros, you know the cons. My thoughts on it is it depends on whether you are going to be clear, crystal clear, and the fact that you shouldn't do it just to impress people. You shouldn't do it definitely to persuade somebody to buy something from you when you don't know what you're talking about, right? And let me tell you one more thing before I move onto the face it until you make it. The fact that people fake it until they make it is very dangerous when you're meeting and you're talking to people that actually know what they're talking about. I always tell my team, people that have money, people that are successful, people that have businesses, people that have made the money because they know how to make money, not because they got lucky, not because they invested in crypto, not because they're traders, not because of the things that COVID came with, not because of that, but the people that really know how to make money, the people that know how to keep it and multiply it, the smart ones, are going to see through you. So if you're going to fake it until you make it, make sure that you're not getting into rooms where you're going to get destroyed and humiliated because people are going to see through your lies and you're going to be exposed. So make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. That's the only thing that I say. It's kind of like, should you get surgery? Should you get your teeth whitened? Should you get your, Botox? Like, do whatever you have to do to feel good about yourself. But just make sure that you're doing it for you to look in the mirror and just go like, I like that. And you feel good about yourself and not because you're trying to impress others or put a persona that is not you. The last point I'm going to make on the fake it until you make it is the following. It doesn't have anything to do with faking something, and the other thing that people confuse it with is the fact that you need to pretend that you're somebody until you become that person. It's very different. What we're talking about here is faking until you're making money, Lambo, Rolex, courses, money, income, whatever, right? The pretending to be somebody is something that can help you, and I actually did a video about this a couple months ago, so go and look it up on my YouTube channel. But it's very different because of the following reason. You need to pretend sometimes that you're somebody that you're not yet in order for you to achieve that goal. The problem with the faking until you're making it is the following. And I just mentioned this, but I just want to make it very clear because it might sound like I'm contradicting myself here, and I'm not. The faking until you making, the problem with that is if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then you shouldn't do it. But trying to become somebody and trying to act through that person and how that person would act is where the difference is. If you fake it until you make it and you're doing it to impress people, sell courses, or do whatever you want to do, that's wrong because you're selling an idea that is not true. If you're pretending to be somebody, you're activating that person through acts, through actions, through thinking like that person thinks. Like you're, tired in the morning, and because that person that you want to become would get up even though they're tired, you do it. That's the big difference. So when you go and watch that video, and you should, because that has helped me tremendously, just know I've never faked it until I made it. I made it, and that's what I did. I actually have pretended to be not somebody else, not because I want to impress people. I have pretended to be the person I want to be. So I saw the result and I saw how that person acted, and I started acting that way. Big difference. Now, what is the face it until you make it? That is the actual realistic way to measure success. That is the way that I have done it myself. So like the previous example, I'm going to give you what I think about it, pros, cons, and the definition. The face it until you make it is the theory, the method, or whatever you want to call it, behind the people that think that they are where they're at and they want to get somewhere else, but they know they're not there yet. Those are the people that you speak to at a call center, customer service, at a store, whatever, and that person's going to come up to you and be like, I don't have the answer, but let me get it for you because I want to make sure that what I'm giving you is the right information. Those are the people that are driving like me at 2013 Chevy Malibu when I was making $250,000 a year. Why? Because I didn't have to show off to anybody that I had more than I actually had. I was making $250,000 a year and I was driving a beat up, paid off, salvage title 2013 Chevy Malibu because I was focused on getting to where I truly wanted to be. I didn't need to show off. I didn't need to get a Lambo. I didn't need to get a Rolex. I got my Rolex when I was like way ahead, when I had already built what I wanted to build. So the fake it until you make it is very different from facing it, because the fake it, you're pretending something. The face it, you're facing your actual reality. And it doesn't mean that you can't dream, because I have big vision. I have big dreams. And the difference is the fact that you're actually doing the stuff that are going to take you to your goal, but not faking that you are already there. Right? Again, I started with saying I actually close my eyes, and it's way more than enough for me to close my eyes and imagine that goal being a reality. I don't have to buy a Lambo to know what it feels like. I don't have to take a trip and pay for a hotel that will leave my bank account suffering to know how it will feel like. I can close my eyes and imagine the future that I want, and that's way more than enough of a motivator for me. Now, the pros of the face it until you make it is the fact that you're not going to be spending more money than you can. You're not going to be showing off on something that is a lie. You're not going to be exposed, because whenever you get into rooms with people that know more than you, you're going to be humble enough to ask questions instead of trying to show off on something that you don't really know about. And also, they're not going to see through your lies. They're actually going to see the truth and the status that you have, the knowledge that you have in everything in the present. And that, my friend, let me tell you something. It's when people help you the most, because they're seeing that you're not where you want to be, but that you have dreams and aspirations, and they give you tools for you to achieve it. Now, the cons of doing this is that if you're a person that needs that, you're not going to get the dopamine that you get by faking it until you make it. So again, just like the previous one, what do I think about it? I have always gone with the face it until you make it, not with the fake it until you make it. But if you are the type of person that needs to see the result, that needs to feel it, then go with the fake it until you make it. Because my friend, let me tell you something. The end goal here is for you to achieve the life that you want. So I'm giving you the two things, what I do, an objective opinion on both, and you need to make your own decision. What I'm here for is to give you the info so you can make an informed decision. and for you to be careful with certain things that I have seen people make mistakes over and over and over with. So again, with all of that being said, comment below in this video if you agree, if you disagree, what your thoughts are, or any future videos that you would want me to be reviewing in the channel.